Good morning. How are we doing, everybody? Welcome to the Push Power to Power Show, hosted by me, Jesus Ortiz, and I'm just so happy to have Miss Carole Mafrige. I don't know if I said your last name right.
Mafrige.
Mafrige. There he goes. And hey, guys, everybody that is watching, we're saying hello to right now because when we get into the conversation, we're gonna get into everything, the COVID, the one what I already had told you. And so don't think that all we're gonna be watching that we're watching each other and asking the questions. But like I said, any questions y'all got while we're talking halfway, let us know. I can put your questions. I can put everything here that you say good morning or have a blessed day. I can push that and we'll say hi to whoever the person is coming in here. All right, guys? So I don't want to leave you out because you're my fans, my supporters. So thank you very much for that. And I mean, it's another day, and I'm just happy and blessed to be here at the office, and happy and blessed that hey, she's gonna be my first one here, so that's amazing. Whoop, 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 whoop. Because all of the other ones I've been doing virtually, and because COVID and all of that, people don't want to come in. So like that's perfectly. You get to choose. You want to come in here, you want to do it virtually. That's fine. Like I said, we got the distance, so that's why. I mean, we have our mask here, but we don't really need to wear it because we're really long. If we would have been like together here, it would have been different. But then putting the mask, you won't be able to hear us and be like, huh, what are you saying? And stuff like that. So I was like, I decided to put the table right here. We'll find the camera is watching all of us, and we're going to have an amazing day. And like I said, all the questions that you got, go ahead. But before, just start listening to what she's going to touch. She's going to introduce herself. She's going to tell a little bit about herself, and I'm still going to start listening. Sometimes I ask some questions that when they were little or stuff like that, that nobody has asked them. So this is going to be good. That's why all of the other interviews, when they're like, whoa, you asked me that? I'm like, what? So I'm like, nobody has asked me that. But that's why it's here. It's about storytelling. That's why my podcast is about storytelling, but knowing them, knowing what they do, knowing their failures, knowing where they got from, all the hard work, the smart work, where are they driving, I fell at this, but I didn't give up. I came back, I came back, because it's life. Life is going to happen to you no matter what, no matter where you at, bottom, middle, or top, something it's going to happen. So you got to train your mindset for that. That's something coming soon, man. Media mindset training. That's something I want to start doing. So, guys, I'm gonna leave it for her, and she's gonna start and introducing herself. So, welcome again, Miss Carole Mafrige, and I leave it to you.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Jesus. I've been looking forward to this. So, yeah, I'm Carole Mafrige. I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, and I love helping people with their health and providing resources for them for themselves and their family members, whether that be professional grade supplements, holistic makeup and skincare, or even wine. We're going to talk about some wine. So I got into this actually from a while back when I myself had a health crisis. This was after the birth of my twins, and they were preemie, and they had some special needs at that time, and it was pretty challenging. I had never done anything holistically really up to that point. I'd just gone to regular doctors, and I love regular doctors. But I found that after a period of time when, my son didn't sleep through the night till 17 months, and, after being in the hospital, they came home on 6 different medications, and some were every 3 hours, some were every 2 hours, some were 2 hours before they ate, some were, it was 24/7. We had medical equipment and alarms blaring, and this went on for over a year. And so I was beyond my capacity at that time, health-wise, emotionally. I mean, it was all about survival of the kids. I wasn't really taking care of myself and doing the things that I know better now. And so after a period of time, my health began to really suffer, and I was diagnosed with 2 autoimmune conditions. And it was a scary time for me because the prognosis that the doctors were giving me were that I was just going to decline. These autoimmune things, they never go away. You just get worse. It might go fast. It might go slow. You need to join a support group. Here's a video for you to watch of people that don't leave their house anymore because of their condition. And I was faced with that with little kids, and now my health was really hanging in the balance. And so I followed the normal protocols. They put me on particular medications and things didn't get significantly better. And I made the decision at that time that I was going to figure this out. And so I struck out and started looking at a lot of different holistic modalities. I tried a lot of different things, and in the end, what really helped me was functional medicine. I found an MD who practiced functional medicine, and there was specific testing, and a lot of my questions were answered as to why is this happening to me. That's something that functional medicine is good at. It gets to the root of the problem. Why is this happening? What's going on with you physiologically that's driving this? And I changed my diet, did some very targeted supplementation, and things turned around. And I'm so grateful to that. And I felt like at that time, everybody needs to know about this. Everybody needs to know about functional medicine. They need to, get on this. And I didn't hear a lot about it. And so when I had the opportunity to be certified as a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, I did it. And in that way, I could really start bringing this to other people and telling them about this. And so that's how I got my start.
So that's good that you have some twins. I didn't know that. I checked everybody's page and learned from them, and I was like, I didn't know that you had the 2 twins. That's grateful.
Yeah.
So now what? How old are they?
They're 17. We are currently in the throes of college applications and everything. It's all like.
They're at that age. They're both boys?
A boy and a girl.
A boy and a girl? Oh, man. They're at that age that you're like, do they fight with you? Like, oh, you love her better than me? I love, that.
You get a little bit of that. You get that whether it's twins or regular siblings, who you like the best. And so one thing that we did teach them over the years is it's not fair. That was a game that we could not play. Like, you can't do fairness. You just can't. You're never going to win. And so we, pretty early on was like, yeah, it's not fair. We give you what you need, and we give you what you need, and that's the way it is. And so that was a trap we tried to avoid. But yeah. So I will say this though.
Yes.
I used to believe that, you have kids and it's really all the parents, that it's the parental influence on them that makes them the way they are, and the way they behave. It's all because of the parents. It's nurture versus nature. Well, let me tell you, God was laughing at me because, he gave me these 2, and in the beginning, I really did do everything the same for them. I gave them the same toys, whether they were quote unquote boy toys or girl toys, which they all got the same toys, and they're so completely different. I mean, I'm here to tell you, it is not because of the parenting, that they have the personalities and the behaviors and things that they have. I mean, there's some influence, certainly, but they are born the way they're born. And it is nature.
It is. Yeah, it is what it is. At the beginning, I say sometimes that when we have our kids, we try to push them to do what we wanted to do when we were young.
Yeah.
And I think that's not right, because they have their own mind of their own. So they want to do what they want to do. But in our minds, like, no, I didn't do soccer. I didn't run. So let me push them out there to do that. And then sometimes it's like, Mom, Dad, I don't want to do that. No, you do got to do that. And it's like, I learned that by working at the daycare, that most of the kids would tell me everything. Like, I would know a lot of things that the parents didn't even know. Because I got so involved. Like, that's why I started working at the daycare, because I wanted to learn the mentality and the mindset of the kids. Most of the parents, put in the kids in the daycare, and they think it's just like you put them in there for you to take care of them, and that's it. And even though they have a lot of things there that, teach them and this, I say, you know what? I'm gonna make myself learn their mentality, their mindset. So when the parents come, I can tell them, what I learned from their kids, something different. So that's how I bonded with the parents, because they were like, you're different. You're just not here to get paid and this. And like, no, I'm here because I told them a little bit about my story. And they're like, I see that. I see that you're struggling. I said, yes, that's why I'm here, because I wanted to be around kids. Since my daughter's not with me, so I want to be around with all these kids and feel the presence and the love like if she was here. So I love that, even though there was offers from other jobs, I said, no, I'm going to keep it here. People are like, but they're paying you so little, but I'm not worried about the pay. I'm getting the bills paid, and I'm learning something that's I'm going to make a bigger difference at the end of the road. I'm perfect with that. And that was amazing. But how did you get in at the beginning? What was the first thing that you started to do? That you were working for somebody else, and then you decided, like, enough is enough. This is not really what I want to be. I want to hit this road and see what it takes me.
Right. Yeah. So I got my start actually in a psychiatrist's office. And she had, she was very forward thinking, and she wanted somebody to have a functional medicine program there for her patient population because she knew that a lot of things going on up here in our heads are really a result of what's going on with us physiologically too. And it's not just, we're thinking wrong, or it's not just all in that realm. So, so I did that for several years. I helped out in that way, did a lot of functional medicine testing and protocols with her patients, and then also, people that weren't her patients would come in and see me. And the thing was, and my hat's off to all the entrepreneurs out there working for yourself, or you, Jesus.
Thank you.
It is not easy. I mean, my kids at that time were still very young, and I thought that, if I gave this a year or two of like really heavy duty attention and work, I felt like I was working 24/7, because I was doing the marketing, I was doing, the billing, I was doing everything. You're a one-man show, right? And I thought, okay, a couple of years of this, and then things should get easier. There should be a rhythm to it. There'd be word of mouth. There'd be this, there'd be that, and it, won't be so difficult. And after a few years, I was like, this is not really getting easier for me yet. Now, if I had stuck with it and maybe put some, things in place, maybe gotten an assistant. There are things that I could have done to continue to pursue it and, in fact, build it and probably make it easier in some respects. But I made the decision at that point, am I going to put all my time and energy into this? Or, my two kids, they're growing up. And if I put all my energy into this, I've already sort of missed a lot of time with them because, it was always on my mind 24/7. I said, you know what? I can do this later if I want. I want to be there with the kids. And I am blessed to have even had that choice. But I decided I'm going to support the kids and be with them while they're still at home because, shoot, this time next year, I'm probably going to be an empty nester. So that was the decision that I made. So I still consult, but my business did take a big turn because I no longer was in a doctor's office. So it changed a lot.
So I know you got some paper there about COVID, and I know a lot of people were like trying to see because how it started, how we are now. Are we actually gonna hit a second wave or is it a third wave? Like now we are confused, because like New York again closed the schools, so it's like New York was the first one. So is it gonna be the same thing like how it started shut down? So a lot of people are afraid of it again because look, there's still a lot of millions of people with unemployment. You see the airlines already firing so many people. I don't know if people know that the Regal Cinema, they're shutting down all their other cinematic. That's it, they're gone. So when I sit down and I read them, I don't really like watching the news because, sometimes I don't want to say that they're fake news because you really got to keep on an eye what's going on. But I'm like, you got to see like, man, they're closing down. This is happening. So like, kind of gets you like, what's going on? This COVID just turned around and shake the whole earth. And it's like, I always tell people, yes, it does shook the earth, but we still got to keep on going. We still got to find a way. So I was like, let's start talking a little bit about that. I know you got some information there. And so people would, what right now, information about that so they can actually be like, okay, not only because of the news, but you can, you're informed about it too.
Yeah, it breaks my heart to see so many businesses closed, and it's just so difficult. And we still don't know. There's a lot we still don't know. Although there's a lot we do know, and I am all about taking what we do know and trying to empower ourselves as much as we can. And so I thought maybe your listeners would like to know about some of the things that I'm doing. I call it my COVID closet, and I stocked it with things that I've learned about along the way as I'm listening and learning, from some of the holistic healthcare providers that I trust and have grown to know over time. And so I thought I would talk about a couple of things. One is vitamin D. Okay, so there's certain vitamins and botanicals that help our immune system. vitamin D is one of those things. And wanted to just quickly read this one study. Based on data from it's almost 200,000 American patients, people with a vitamin D level of at least 55 nanograms per milliliter had a 47% lower COVID positivity rate compared to those with a level below 20. So, yeah, so what that means is vitamin D does a lot of really good things for our body. And yes, we make vitamin D naturally from the sunlight, but most of us are fairly low in vitamin D. We are not optimized in our vitamin D level. And so I personally, I'm not a doctor, so if anybody's listening, if you are thinking, oh, I might go start taking supplements, you should always check with your doctor first. But I personally take vitamin D. My family takes vitamin D, and we have our vitamin D levels checked every time we go to the doctor, or once a year when we go to the doctor to try to optimize them, because it really is better to be optimized before you get sick. You can take vitamin D, and I would take vitamin D. If I get sick, I'll bump it up. But it's really best to be optimized to begin with. That's where you get the biggest benefit. So, and a couple of notes on that. I would be remiss if I didn't say it's really best to take vitamin D with vitamin K. Vitamin K is the director of where the minerals are going to be deposited in our body, like calcium. And vitamin D, as you know, is a big supporter of bones. So it works really synergistically with vitamin K. So there are some good vitamin D and K combined supplements on the market. There's a professional one that I like, and if anybody wants a consult, I can help them with getting the professional lines, which you wouldn't find them at Whole Foods or.
I like this because it's something I'm learning. I didn't know about when you said the K and then infuse, because my doctor, I go, like you say, you got to tell your doctor if you can take this medicine, since my blood pressure was high and now it's getting back to normal. And I called him and I said, hey, I want to lose weight. And is this medicine, it's a keto medicine. I said, is this fine? And I started reading. He's like, oh no. He's like, you don't, did you start drinking that? And they're like, no, do not drink that. It's not good for you. It's going to mess up with your blood pressure again. So I was like, those stuff to me is new. Like now that you go on virtual, or you can actually text your doctor, it's like, this is amazing that he told me. He's like, anything you want to drink something for weight or anything, let me know. Vitamins, because we have your history. We want to make sure that you don't get worse on anything. So I'm like, this is cool, because I guess back in the day we couldn't do that. You just go to the hospital and whatever they help you with, you did it, Yeah. And nowadays it's just like everything with technology is changing, and it's just feels better to know that they're your support. Like they just recently texted me and said, hey, and call me, and they say, you got to put your next, every year is my time for November for the whole year again, for the whole general checkout, the blood check, the vitamin D and all that. So I need to call them back and put that. But this time it's going to be present, because all of the other ones were virtual, the ones that I have, but now I have to go in November. So I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we were going to talk a little about healthcare justice. So just to follow up on kind of what you're saying, the virtual and then the in-person and things. So a couple of quick notes on that. One thing that I have thought of is that one thing that we know about vitamin D levels is that vitamin D levels tend to be lower in general in people with dark skin. Okay, and it has to do with the melanin content of their skin and how they receive sunlight on their skin and that kind of thing. And so they tend to have lower vitamin D levels. And we know that African Americans in particular are having a harder time with COVID. And in my mind, I wonder if there's a connection between their lower vitamin D levels and COVID. I don't know. There's so much we don't know. And so from a healthcare justice standpoint, I think vitamin D supplementation might be even more important for certain populations than others. But also, as I mentioned, to follow up on the virtual versus in-person, doctors, and particularly primary care, a lot of doctors are actually having a hard time, with their businesses right now, because the patients are not coming in. And so their revenue is down. And so I am with a group of folks that is helping doctors implement, it's a particular remote patient monitoring system that it is it also is great for functional medicine for those doctors that want to incorporate some functional medicine in their practice. And this is something that my functional medicine doctor, when he implemented this originally, he just about quadrupled his practice. And insurance is changing so much that they are paying for a lot of things, thankfully, virtual visits and all kind of things that they were reluctant to pay for before. And so, like I said, I'm with a team. If there's anybody out there that is interested, and if there's a doctor out there or a doctor out there, this can be implemented in less than a week. It can greatly enhance their practice, comes alongside their regular practice, and it's so helpful for people. The doctor that I mentioned has implemented this. His patients are doing wonderfully on this, and so it's great for the patients and it's great for the doctor. Yeah, and it's also from a healthcare justice standpoint.
Yes.
To me, it's the perfect model for healthcare in the future. It's the future of healthcare, I believe, and also the person that put this together is now consulting with government agencies and the Cleveland Clinic and some other bodies about the fact that this is the perfect model for underserved communities, medically underserved communities, perhaps communities that are more depressed and that kind of thing. It's very high level functional medicine healthcare, but it's all insurance based, and so people that do not have a lot of means can still participate and not have to pay lots of money. So
man, that is great, because I go to Christ Clinic. I don't know Christ Clinic in Katy.
Okay, I'm not.
Yeah, it's in I forgot I think Katy Mills Mall, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I go, and they help you if you didn't have an insurance in there, because they have people funding the Christ Clinic and stuff like that. So that would be something good that I could talk to some of the doctors so they can implement that, because I know that I wanted to put my brothers in there, but when COVID happened, they said that they're not taking any more new people because it hit them hard.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa. So it's like, man, I wish that I could have put somebody in my family there that they don't have insurance. But hey, I should have done it earlier, because I know that my mom was like, do it. And I left it at, like we always do. I'll do it later.
List, right?
Yeah, and I should have done that, now that I know that they'll probably take more, but it will be probably going to be way later on than right now.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm just glad that, we're still here. No matter if we're wearing a mask or not, but, you got to protect yourself. I know it's crazy. We're not going back to the regular world like everybody's thinking, like, oh, COVID is going to be gone and back to what it was before. No, you could see already that everything is changing. We're going to a big shift. Like, I don't know where this shift. I know technology and stuff. I know podcasts and more of the TV. Like, it's going like low. Like, more is more digital. Like it's shifting more to like TV, online TV and stuff like that. Like TV on TV is like Netflix.
Yeah. Not
really watching regular TV. Like all of the programs I like to study and stuff when I'm watching TV and watching the commercials. I'm like, oh, there's not a lot of people actually paying attention to the commercials, or people just watching Netflix and Hulu, not really, because the programs that were there boring, they don't like it. So it's like everything is like shifting. Everything is shifting. And as everything is shifting, you do got to pay attention as healthcare, technology and tech and everything. You're like, how can I help somebody with what I know? Like we're talking about the knowledge, and stay relevant and stay here, because if not, we're just going to stay up and be like, what do I do? I mean, I know people that are getting paid $30, $40 an hour, and they still, it's not enough, because everything is shifting, prices up, food up. Now you got a 2-3 BMWs, the house, and it's like, that's why I see it as like, because now you're paying so much of those 3 cars, your house, you're back to square one.
Right.
So I love learning this and teaching other people. Just sit down and make sure that you figure out your expenses, what's going out, what's going in. You don't need to be doing all of this stuff to, for other people to see you. Oh, I got my new shoes, my new Gucci jacket. No. Make sure that your family and everybody's set. because we do not know when something like COVID or something next before the election or anything shocks us and be like, what?
That's true. That's true. You do need to take stock. I agree. Take stock and not be over levered. And it's not all about just making the most. And,
oh yeah.
The rat race. It's not all about it.
No.
This is making us all think about that.
Oh, it just
right?
Yes. And I'm nothing against nobody working with nobody, because
right.
I was there too. We were there.
Sure.
So I'm like, now I try to teach people to be like, you love working at McDonald's? Well, sit down with the general manager, let them know that you don't want them to see you as an employee. You want to grow here. You have your own ideas. How can I grow here with you with McDonald's? I want to implement this stuff. How can I get a little bit of percentage here, or upgrade $2 or $3 raise, or extra bonus? You have to adapt where you at, because I have friends that I teach them this mentality, and so I'm like, I never thought about that. I'm like, how did you know about that? Well, I started learning it myself and from others, and I said, why not just push it out and see people who actually take action? And I seen it. Some people, they're like, hey man, I work at the restaurant, it's been working well. Now they're trying to give me a manager, and I'm getting a little bit more bonus, a percentage this, because they're implementing the idea. So it's growing, so I'm growing. I'm like, I'm happy. I'm like, that's what I want to, like, that's what I love. Like, it makes me happy.
Empower people.
Yeah, like I want to empower them that do not give up just because you're there and they're paying you 10, 11, but you love it. Make sure that you use everything and squeeze everything you know. Don't be afraid and thinking that they're not going to help you or that they're not going to listen to you. Trust me, they will. They might just see you as an employee because you're not saying anything. You just 8 to 5, 7 to 3, and you're going home. That's it. You're not opening your mouth. But when you step up and say that, they're like, oh, well, I didn't know you wanted this. Yeah. We're opening a new store. Do you want to go train these people? Well, I see that you're a motivational speaker. Do you want to motivate these people? I was like, there's so many ways that you can increment your income. And it just makes me happy that all of this stuff that I'm learning, because so many all the books that I have there, coaches and mentoring, and like people that I interview, it's just a blessing.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So do you think your listeners would like to hear about kind of a deep in the closet thing that I'm doing for COVID that probably nobody is? Okay.
Yes, because they want to know something new.
So this is new. This is new, and I don't know a lot of people that are doing this, but I'm doing it. My family's doing it. My parents who are in their 80s, I'm making them do it. They're doing it, and they like it. And this is, I didn't make this up. If folks want to see it, you can go to mercola.com, and in the search bar, type in hydrogen peroxide, and this article will come up, and it'll have all the instructions and everything in it. I'm going to give you a copy. I printed it out. But what it is, in short, it's nebulizing. You know what a nebulizer is? It's a little machine that nebulizes a liquid. People either have a little tube that they're kind of breathing it in, or a little mask that they are breathing in the mist that it's making. And people will do this with asthma medications and other types of medications, sometimes steroid type of. So it's a little thing. You can get it on Amazon or whatever. It's a nebulizer is what it's called, and not expensive. And it's nebulizing very dilute, and I'll explain it, very dilute hydrogen peroxide. Sounds crazy, but as it turns out, our bodies, all the little epithelial cells lining our lungs and all of this, produce hydrogen peroxide, particularly in response to a foreign invader or an attack of some sort. Like if we were to get a virus, it would be cranking out as much as it could, a little bit of hydrogen peroxide to help neutralize that situation. There's even in town, I believe, a Houston-based pharmaceutical company that's trying to come up with a drug that would provoke the hydrogen peroxide manufacturing in our own cells. And I don't know a lot about that, but I've heard that that's something, an effort that's going on. But this to me is an easier thing to do, to just sort of supplement what our body naturally is already trying to do. So you take, or I take, food grade hydrogen peroxide. Again, this is on Amazon. Sometimes you can find it in the grocery store, food grade hydrogen peroxide. And it comes in, you'd have to look at what you get. It can either come in 3%, 9%, 35%, whatever. You should pay attention to the percent of hydrogen peroxide that you have. And then you also get saline that is preservative free. So that's a little bit, that's not the saline that you're going to get that, is just a normal on the shelf, squeeze it in your eyes or nose or whatever. It'll say, preservative free, and you can find it again, Amazon, Walmart, sometimes in drugstores. So you take, it's mostly saline, and you dilute it. You'll have to get your, high school math out to do it, but you got to dilute it until you have mostly saline, like 99.9% saline, and only 0.1% hydrogen peroxide. It's a very low percent. So it's just it's like a drop, okay? Yeah, it's like a drop of it into the saline. And then I also add a little drop of Luvol's iodine, which is another thing that helps our body, fight viruses and things. I nebulize this, okay? You can nebulize it often. You can, just once a week is fine. But if you felt like you were getting sick, you had a tickle, you something in your nose, whatever, you could nebulize once an hour, if you wanted to. It's not going to hurt you. It's helpful for lots of lung conditions. And whenever I visit my parents, they're in Nashville, but whenever I show up there, who knows what I have contacted on the way, right?
Yeah.
So they nebulize, if they go to the grocery store and come back, they nebulize. If, go to church, they come back, they nebulize. I do it, about once a week at home. My husband does it a little more often. He's out and about in the public more. And the idea is that if you contract a virus, whether it's COVID or whatever, it mainly sits in your nose for a while and replicates in your nose, and you're kind of swallowing it and goes down to your gut. And so, and then, once it's of enough sizable numbers, then, then it's systemic, and it's, it's in your lungs, it's in all this stuff. And so if you can periodically, nebulize or do something, even rinsing out your sinuses on a fairly regular basis, you could be getting rid of things or knocking down viruses that have gotten in there, and just helping your body's immune system expel it or keep it really low to where your immune system can handle it. And, you'll be.
Oh, I like that, because just recently my parents bought, I don't know if it's a nebulizer, but they put that vapor up, and then you just turn it on and it just throws the
So that's
vapor.
a diffuser.
Okay, that's
which
a diffuser.
Is lovely.
Okay,
that's
they bought it
they
bought it in Amazon because they're in the
Yeah.
60s, so they wanted to, protect themselves from breathing in something that is gonna help them. So I was like, that's good. So when you said that, that's gonna help more fighting more stuff that you don't know that you have.
Right.
You're afraid of it. That's really good.
Right. So that's in my COVID closet. So folks can go to that site, or you can put up a link somewhere for them, and they can learn about it themselves, talk to the doctors about it, and yeah, it's something you can do. It empowers you.
Man, see that, guys? We're just learning, and that's the amazing thing when you're here and interviewing somebody. You learn something new about the COVID, and now we're gonna jump in the wine. But like I said, any questions that you got, even if we finish up, I'll still go back and I'll answer, and then you can still go check it out, and she can reply to those questions too. So don't worry about it, okay? But this is good, because I'm learning something good about the COVID closet and all of the stuff, that nebulizer stuff. We all need it. Not even if COVID wasn't even here, we still need. There's viruses. I mean, the flu went there. The Spanish flu was back in the 1918s. So that around three. That's what they say. Around 3 years, something's gonna pop up. Like right now, it was COVID. You never know in the next 3 years what's the next thing.
Right.
So it's better to prepare yourself now, getting those vitamin D's, K's, and a nebulizer, and being protected, and your health, because your health is number one always. If you don't protect your health, it's just like you don't care.
Your health is your wealth.
Your health is your wealth. That's very true. Because I've seen older people like 70, and I'm like, I go to them and say, hey, how you doing, sir? Like, please do not tell me. I tell them, jokingly, you're not around 70, right? Or I just throw an age, like, yeah, I just turned 70. You look like 40. But they found it a shift on themselves that when they were around 50 or 60, say, man, my health is, it needs to be more. I gotta adjust it. I want to leave and see how my grandsons and grands, live more. So what can I do, And I said, I asked a lot of questions to my doctor, and I started going to the gym. I know my bones are not really, fragile, so I did what I could. But look, I look like 40. I'm like, thank you. I said, man, I want to look like that when I'm your age.
Yeah.
So we can't do it. You can't do it. You just don't. I guess that our mentality is like, you're gonna turn 70 and you're like, your body just gave all. And like, no, you can still be out there and doing whatever you want to do. It's just that I guess your mindset just tells you like, that's it for you. Like you just gotta sit down and wait for your grandkids to come and just stay at home. And like, no,
it's mindset, isn't it?
It's crazy. That's how I started. That's how I said, it's a mindset training, because it's tough. If you let your mindset control you, it's like it's over. But if you get control of your mindset, your heart and your soul, it's like, chill, you're on top of the game.
Yeah.
You're on top of it. And I know it happens sometimes that maybe you wake up and you start not thinking that you're depressed, but like, just like I was telling you, remember stuff in the past or something that maybe stress you out. But then you got to get back to it. You'll be like, what can I do for me to not start thinking that? I got to work out, eat what I was eating and talk to somebody or watch a motivational video and get back to it. Because if you just start thinking about the same, then your mind just starts just like adding different, like a movie, and then your day is like a negative effect. Boom, boom, boom. And then you got to spread it out to a lot of people. And like, I don't want that. I want to spread out love and I want to spread out positivity instead of pressing out, negativity. But hey, guys, we're going to jump into wine. So, it was this before COVID thing?
The wine, yeah. So, the wine was something that came along. And actually, I loved wine. I used to love wine, but wine did not love me back. Okay. I would have a glass of wine, and I mean just a glass, and I would be so tired. I just want to curl up in a ball, like instead of, celebrating and being all social, I just was ready for bed. And then the next day I would be groggy, I would have a headache. This was just from one glass. And so it was clear to me that this wasn't good for me. So for about a decade, I just did not drink at all, and I'm fine with that, But a friend of mine introduced me to Scout and Cellar wine and explained to me that, wine is all made differently. And the main reason that people don't feel well after drinking wine, and whether that's headaches or some people get stomach aches or rashes or lots of other issues, the main reason actually has to do with the additives and the chemicals that are put in the wines that we find in the stores off the shelf. And she encouraged me to give Scout and Cellar wine a shot. It's organic, biodynamic. It's made without any of the chemicals and additives, colorants, texturizers, and all the different things that can be in the wine on the shelf. And I said, all right, yeah. So I gave it a try, and I was really surprised. I felt completely fine. And so I found that now I can enjoy wine again, and it's delightful. And looking into it more, I started to realize that, the ingredients in regular wine are very similar to the ingredients in a strawberry Pop-Tart. I mean, we're talking preservatives, the colors, the reds and the purples, thickeners, different just chemical agents and things in there that they use to either enhance the taste, make it taste the same as last year's vintage. They do things to speed up the production of the wine, chemically they're able to do that. They do things to just cover up flaws, because a lot of the grapes are machine gathered, instead of hand picked. All the Scout and Cellar wines are hand picked. If they're machine gathered, you could get a clump of grapes that has fungus or mold or whatever. But man, if you put enough chemicals in there, that's going to take care of it.
That's true.
So, there's all kind of reasons why wine is produced the way it's produced. And when you remove all of that and you just have the grape and no added sugar, you just have the grape, the natural, fermentation, then you end up with a beautiful product, and your body receives it much better, and it doesn't cause the kind of problems that some of these others cause.
Right there, when you say when you drink that one and it make you sleepy, I'm not a wine person. I would drink some, but now I'm going to I'm a whiskey guy. So now I drink a whiskey, like just a little glass, and it's making me do that, like just curl down and do not socialize and just want to go to sleep. Sometimes I'll take a glass, like if I'm eating with my parents and stuff, and I pop in the bottle and drink one, and then it's 8 o'clock and I'm already trying to tired and go to sleep. And I've been like trying to like, what's wrong? I mean, I know that my past, when I was younger, I became a little bit of an alcoholic, like when I was 18 or 19. So I would drink from like Sunday to Sunday. But then after that, I kind of, stopped. And now it's like, I barely drink now. I drink just socially. But sometimes that happens, and I've been trying to see why does that happen. Is it the age? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, to be completely, clear, I mean, alcohol itself does affect our physiology in such a way that that the relaxation response, does come up. So that's part of it, but depending on what you're drinking and the ingredients, and the tricky thing is they don't have to put the ingredients on there. Like a strawberry Pop-Tart, you actually can read the ingredients.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Bottle of wine, bottle of whiskey, you don't know what's in there.
No.
So it could be, so it could be the whiskey. You might try some different ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't have whiskey at Scout and Cellar, unfortunately. So,
Oh yeah, but that's fine because nowadays, like my mom likes whiskey, but she's a whiner. Like she's a whiner. That's something bad. I hope she's not. Yeah, I hope she's not watching. She loves wine, so sometimes I did, bring her a little bit of wine or whiskey because she likes wine and whiskey. That's how I got her from her for the whiskey, But I always tell her, so how does that one taste? Because it's like a red wine or like grapey wine or the color, and she's like, well, this one tastes a little, it's good, but it tastes this way. This one it's just like a little bit sugary stuff. So it's like different kind of wines, But now that there's the Scouts, she haven't tried that out. I would like get some for her, and she could try it out. Because I mean, she does it, on the weekends with my dad. I see them there drinking, but I'm having a time. So it's like I see that, and that makes me happy with them. If they wanna. That's why I'm the one that buys the bottles and keep them there. Like now that my friend that I interview him with the whiskey, like that bottle doesn't make me sleepy.
Oh,
like his one, and that's regularly the one that I've been buying.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, maybe because he told me I know now how they make it because he told me the ingredients and everything. So I was like, okay, maybe it could be that, maybe because they're using this and the other ones, you don't know.
Yeah,
it might be stronger and different.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because the mark, the name of it, like, oh yeah, but it's more expensive, But I like it. It's really good. I'm gonna bring a bottle and keep it here when I have interviews, let them try it.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Like he says that most of the sales is women.
Mm-hmm.
Like women love the whiskey. Like you don't taste it. Like you take a shot and it's like it's soft.
Yeah.
Because we took a shot like of regular whiskey and I was like, I felt it. The regular whiskey.
Yeah.
Okay, he's like, that's regular whiskey. Take a shot of mine now. I was like, did you taste like what I told you the ingredients? And I said, yeah. I started, start tasting it. Did you feel the burn? Like, no. It's like, see, there's the difference. But woman likes the best. I'm like, hey, that's cool. And like now you got specifically somebody selling that. So how long have you been doing the Scouts? So it's been a while now?
Just a couple years.
Couple of years,
yeah. So it's been fun. Before COVID, I would actually have tastings. And so I would bring a selection and I'd introduce it. And all of the wines really have a story behind them. All of them are independently lab tested to have none of these contaminants and to be organic. But all of them come from small family-owned organic and biodynamic farms. A lot of them are small batches. And all of these folks involved have a story. I mean, one of the Austrian wines, these come from all over the world. So one of the Austrian wines is from a winery where it was a family farm. They've been making wine since the 1800s, but not like selling it. And it wasn't until the 1930s that the young son was like, we should sell this, and so they started selling it. And that son is still there today, retired, and it's his kids that run the winery now. And so that's fun, and there was a video of one of the wines that we had for a while. It was a small batch, and so we didn't have it for very long. But one of them was a Spanish wine, and they had a video. The winery person was making wanted to make a video specifically for this wine that we had, and it was just fascinating to hear his passion about it. And he was talking about, this is unfiltered wine. He said, I wanted it to reflect the whole winery, the terroir, the air, the wind, the soil. I mean, it was just so fun to hear him, just really getting into it. I mean, they have a passion for this. They love it. And so it's neat to have these wines from all over the world, from these families and these people that are so dedicated, and it's fun.
That's great. That's what it is, when you implement whatever you do, and people may think that it's like funny or you're like a clown, but no, it's just you, because you love that. You kind of building your own character.
Oh yeah.
So you're pushing it around like that. Like sometimes I do a little content here and there. I'm like when I was pushing this for the interview, I was like, do not forget, just like on TV, you already know that at 10 a.m. I don't want to miss that show from 10 to 11. There's the same thing. Do not miss at 10 to 11 the hour of the show. So it's like you implemented somebody that show is gonna be at that time. And it's always gonna be from 10 to 11, and then the second one will be from 7 to 8. So people know that. So I'm trying to create it that, it's like the channel, like they will know that at that time we're gonna be there.
Yeah.
Because
it's your enthusiasm, it's your love. And that comes through.
Oh yeah, people like, they're like, how did you? And like, I don't know. Sometimes I tell them, I still ask myself, like, how did I turn out to be this way? Because my mom told me, like, when you were little, you were shy. You will not speak. Yeah, like I will be
That's
so
surprising.
Differently, because I still remember when I was in school and stuff and trying to meet friends, that would be not me. It was just maybe I had like few friends, and then I would not even go try to talk to girls. I still remember the first time when my friends pushed me and I was stutter, hey, and then I would just walk away. I would walk away because I was so afraid. Like I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, And now they're like, they're like you were saying, you're just like, I don't believe that, because you got that enthusiasm. It was like, it turned out to be that I changed that way when I started working in the industry of the restaurant.
Really?
Because you had to talk.
Were you a waiter?
I was a waiter, and then I ran the restaurant. So that was my dream. Like I went to college. I dropped out of college, but was going for restaurant management. So when I dropped out of college, my friend is like, well, you did restaurants, so you know a little bit about it, but you kind of have to start from the bottom. I was like, but you have to talk to people. And I was like, oh, I was 18. At that time, I was already 18. I was like, talk to people. I'm like, no. I'm like, well, you're living with your parents right now. Your mom's telling you got to help her paying in here, so you got to get a job. So I was like, I know the owner of this restaurant. Come on, let's go. So he took me, and we had like a meeting. He's like, can you start this Friday? I was like, already. Like, not to start, but train. And then I was like, oh, sure, let's go. So we went. I'm telling you, man, when we finished that Friday and I went home, I was like, my mom like decided, so you ready for tomorrow? I was like, no, I'm not going back. I was like, what? There were so many people. I didn't even know what to say to them. There was a line outside and people running with the plates and people fighting. I was like, this is not for, in the restaurant, that happens. This is not for me. It's like, come on, you got to try it. My legs hurt. I'm like, you're 18. You got so much energy and your legs hurt. I was like, all right. So I went back a couple of days, and then I was like, okay, you know what? I really need to work and make some money. So I was like, they trained me, and they were like, I was ready. And they're like, we're going to give you just one table. And I was like, that's perfect. So they just gave me a little booth. It's like, that's going to be your booth to start. I was like, okay, that's fine. So that's how I started. Like with that booth, I guess a month passed, and then I started realizing that was my booth. That was my business. I started like creating my own stuff in my mind. It's like, I'm the boss of my booth. I can create any stories that I want to create. Either they're true or not. I'm just creating something so they can be happy, and they can, if they had a bad day. And I started doing that, and I started loving that, and the clients loved it. Like I created the bondage with the people that they wanted me. When they came in, it's like, no, we want Jesus, but there's no more chairs. No, we want to sit over there, but I want him. And that table wasn't mine. It was like the other waiter. So they would get mad at me. I'll be like, oh, I tell them, I don't want to get, mad with them. They're like, no, we want you, or we just leave. And I say, no, I don't want to leave. So I started, wow, I was like, how did I create it myself on that, And then from there, it was just like, they'll bring me cake for my birthday. They'll bring cake for my mom, uh, gift cards. Like there was a couple that will come and in my birthday, they would tell the owner, hey, when we come in, we'll pay him the rest of this day, but we want to celebrate his birthday with us, and we'll buy a bottle. And they'll put me the whole sombrero. And I was like, I tell these stories to people, like, wow. I was like, and that's when I started realizing, like, changing my mindset, like, oh, I'm a people's person. I was like, I'm changing. I'm like, I used to be shy. Like, look at me now. I'm talking and making good bondage. And I started just letting myself loose. And then now I just became this. I'm like, when I knew that she was my deepest why and she was my success, I was like, I love talking to people. How can I, be out there and be a fan to everybody and tell stories and motivate them with all that I have, gone through? I said, a podcast. I was like, a show. I didn't know a podcast when I started. It was a show. And that's how I ran it in 2015, like at the end of 2015, beginning of 2000, I started it. That's when the podcast movement started. And then until now, when I said I got to run it full time.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's just people's like, they see me, they're like, it's like, do you see it as a job? I'm like, I don't see it as anything. I just see it as I'm living my life, connecting people to other connectors, and just going through the day. You just got to enjoy the day. Yeah. Like everybody else.
Now everybody can listen to you and they can be uplifted.
And they love it when they hear it and everything. They're like, we love the show, keep on doing it, don't give up. I'm like, oh no, man, I love it. I created it for a reason. And getting supporters and getting more followers. I'm like, and now it's like I'm getting into trying in different things. So it's like, I love it. And especially bringing in different people, like bringing you in today. And just yesterday, I met other people about the insurance. And you were talking about how everything is changing with all that, with the doctors and stuff. Yesterday, I'm in a group of only dads. So there was like an insurance hell, and they were telling that they already told them that was going to be the percentage that it was going to change on the health and this. And they said it's not good. So I'm going to bring them in here so people will know about this. Because when I started listening to that, they've been doing that. That's their thing. They've been doing that for years, health insurance. Yeah. And they're like, this is not good for the Americans. This is not good for the country. What is going to happen next that people don't know yet? Only we know because the corporate told us that it's going to happen really soon. And like nobody knows. I know now because of that little meeting. And I was like, I got to bring them in for people to know. And it makes me sad that that's going to happen with people already with unemployment and getting sick. And then it's like, I was like, man, guys. And they were like, I know. And I'm working on this years, and I don't want this to happen, but I don't control this. Yeah. And I was like, oh man.
Well, I appreciate that you are bringing value to people, and I love how you connect people. I told you that earlier. You're a connector, and that's huge.
Oh yeah. And that's what I bring here. I just don't want people to know me, but I want people to know that who's sitting right there. I want them to know who they are, what they're bringing in their table, how we can collaborate, because people think, oh, just after you do the meetings and stuff, you're gonna know, man. Trust me, I share videos, I mini share pictures, and share it out there, and people will know who not only who am I, but the person that I'm bringing in here, because that's what it is. Because you never know what collaboration or what out there that people say, hey, I got another 3 people that want to get interviewed. Boom, bring them in. I interview them, and then from there, like we're here together, I can connect you with the people that is already here. Like there are already a lot of businesses already here. I haven't even met them yet.
This is a beautiful spot too.
I haven't even met them yet. Like that guy Brian, he's like, hey, did you talk to all of the businesses here yet? So you can just like, what are you waiting for? I said, wait, man, I just started here. But he's like, man, you gotta move and do your thing. He like, I guess he could be like an accountability partner. I just thought about that yesterday, right. And I just met him. Like every time he sees me, he's like, hey, I got a couple of ideas. You don't mind me? I was like, no. I'm not even gonna be mad. If it's something that I might say that it's not going to work, I'm going to write it down because I can learn from it. And if it doesn't work for me, maybe it can work for some of the other people. Yeah. Like I'm already thinking ahead.
Oh, yeah. My husband had dinner with a friend one time and they wrote down a business plan on a napkin. Yeah. And they did it. They did the business together.
Right there. You're talking about the napkin?
Yep.
My phone was ringing and I just recently partnered up with a real estate girl. She's 30 plus year on the business.
Wow.
So she knows the business of real estate and she knows the business of business.
Yeah.
Because she ran businesses when she was at the age of 14. She's 4. She just turned 47. So all her life, she's been a businesswoman and entrepreneur in real estate. Flipping houses. So that's what I tell people. People are watching you. And she was watching me since I started. Since I ran my pressure washing business. And then I wanted to sell clothes. She knew all of it. And one day she just said, turned me in and said, you know what, can you come into my office? And it was her birthday. She was just recently. She's like, hey, Jesus, I really want to partner with you. I'm not really savvy on media, but I know what I'm doing with all of the businesses and stuff like that. And I want to know that we can grow together. I want to make sure that you're successful, because I'm already there and I want to use my time. And I was like, whoa, that's amazing. But she was watching me since 2015, all the way to 2020. So that's why I tell people, like, right now, like, somebody out there, this audio, video, anything that you're doing, someone's watching.
Yeah.
Someone's watching. Somebody was watching me 2015. Now she's my partner. She's coming today. If you're still here, you probably will meet her. She'll be here at 12:30. So it's just like, I still don't believe it, that there's people. And she's like, I have my own team. I'm going to make sure that your viewers is the same as mine, 10 to 15K. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, I want to grow your channel. And then we can grow to it. And she did like what she wants to work with me, like her mindset of using the podcast on a napkin. We went eat something and she did it on a napkin and I saw it and I was like, yes, we can. I'm like, why didn't I thought about that myself? Because I'm already doing podcasts, She's like, hey, you have two minds. It's better than one. And that's why she's coming in. We're going to sit down and finalize all that stuff and run with it, man. And I'm just happy.
Great.
Yes. That's why it's blessing when you out here with teaching and throwing out their value about the COVID, about the wine, because you never know who really wants it out there.
Yeah.
Or who wants to get that information.
Right. And the wine is fun for your folks because unlike some of the other stuff we talked about, the wine is something that you too can sell, Scout and Cellar wine. It's a network marketing type thing because who better to tell the story than friend to friend? You can't really get the value of that wine on the shelf.
And you're using that product yourself.
Oh yeah. So that's the only wine I'll drink.
That's good.
Yeah. Because
that's what I learned when I was younger. I joined in different network marketing, but at that time my mindset was just. That was at the beginning of my mindset opening. Like, oh my God, there's so much. Not to work just a 9 to 5. I can, make a business and create something. But I didn't have no mentors. I didn't have no coach. So it was just me trying to do a lot of things and not doing anything. And that's how my relationship with my ex-wife it just crumbled because I was trying to do so many things I never did. So the communication started going down and stuff like that. And then boom, it makes me sad because we could make something, better. But because I guess, I don't know, God, wants it happened that way. So
I do believe that it is all in his plan.
Yeah.
I do.
And now I know what was my fault. I know what I did wrong because you cannot just blame yourself. You got to blame both parties. So I man up and I said, I know all of this stuff that I did. And I man up and I'm like, that I did it, whatever you want to call me, that's fine. But I'm telling you that I know what I did wrong. And it makes me sad because some of the stuff that I did, it was just horrible, man. Not like cheating or anything, but like when she needed shoes, my mindset was like, no, we cannot waste that money. We got to save it because we're going to use that money maybe to start a business or something. And she needed the shoes and she needed the clothes. Not her only, but my wife. And she was like, okay, that's fine. Then 2 weeks later, we go to the store. Oh, hey, we need to really get her the shoes. No, we need it. I was like, that made me, like, every time I talk to this, when we go out to eat, I cry because it's like, that was you. So I'm like, no. To her, I was like, you can buy her clothes, and now I'm different. Like, I send her money to Mexico, and all days I can send her boxes of clothing and stuff, and she sometimes asks, why are you sending me too much stuff and stuff like that? I was like, because you're my princess. I mean, it's other things that, happened that it feels bad in my heart that I did, that I had to change,
But you did.
And I did. And it's a blessing. And then that's why when I see her, it's like, I can't stop. I didn't come this far for me to just stop and throw everything away and be like, I gotta go back to where I was, and I can't do that. Like, I have so much greatness to show people. I have so much greatness to show myself because we're a work in progress.
We are all a work in progress. I'll tell you, the kids, hopefully, cross fingers, going off to college next year. It is really bittersweet. Because I'm excited for them, of course I'll miss them, but I also look back upon my mothering time with them, and you can't help but look back and have some regret. I mean, anybody that doesn't look back and wow, that's awesome. But, I wonder, did I do enough? Was I there for them? Could I have done better? So we have to forgive ourselves and know that we did the best we could at every stage. And just love one another,
Love one another,
yeah.
And be grateful that we're still here and alive and breathing.
Yeah.
That we woke up today. I think that's the number one thing, the priority one, that you woke up.
Yeah.
Because I heard somebody like, will you take $1 million or will you prefer waking up? I was like, oh no, I prefer waking up.
Yeah.
Because what happens if I don't wake up, and what am I gonna do with those $1 million?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Right.
So I prefer waking up, and I can make more than $1 million by connecting and helping other people. Because God can take your life. You could just woke up and be like, whoa, where am I? You're gone while you were sleeping. That's why you gotta be grateful every day of your life, whatever you do from the morning to the end. Be happy. Yes, I know sometimes it's like, oh, that deal didn't happen or this. So keep on going. It happened because it happened.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's a learning process. Like I said, we're talking, it's like, I don't sometimes believe it that I learned that. Like I'm calm. Yeah. Like people say, how are you calm that someone in your family dies? Or how are you calm? Because I train my mindset that stuff is going to happen. My mom might get sick, my dad, my cousin, somebody might have an accident. So I'm trained ahead. So when that happens, they're like, oh, you didn't love your aunt or you hate your son. Like, yeah, dude, it hurts. Trust me. It does hurt. But it's going to happen. And we still got to move on. They're still watching you, be like, hey, keep on going.
That's right.
And some people can't. Some people will drag themselves months, years with that hurt. And that's fine. Everybody's different. But you cannot let that, because then that makes you depressed. Then you want to kill yourself and stuff like that. You don't want that.
And they wouldn't want that.
And they wouldn't want that. And that's what happened. Especially right now with these COVID things. A lot of people kill themselves or of the relationships that they don't really want to be at home all the time. The husband hits her or the other way around. And the kids are there watching. It's just like, what in the world we're living in, And it's sad. Like, it makes me sad that we're living in a world that we blame God, but we can't blame him. We got to blame ourselves. We got to blame the humans. Whoever has that power right now and doing all of this stuff, it's not him. That's why we lost God in earth, because of all of that. Why is all this burning in California and this and that? Oh, forget, God, stop this. It's not his fault. He created us. We got DNA on us. It's us that we're trying to make something here. It's like we're trying to push him away so a human can be a God. That's not possible. I see that, like, oh my God, all these things, like so much power, so much money, and why? I mean, everybody can eat. Everybody can eat. Why is like so many countries poor? Why are these people living on the streets? It's like, I see it and I see the whole vision, and I was like, it's not your fault, God. And I believe in you. And I talked to him, when I talked to him, it's us. We wanted to make it this way, and it's this way because of us, because of a system that don't want to be changed. And it's sad. And then if you know too much, then you end up dying or somebody kills you. It's just ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but that's why it just kind of live your life, keep on, bringing out collaborations and living your day-to-day and do what you can control.
Do what you can do, right?
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. So
you want to finish up with something super positive for, I was going to say Monday. See, it's Wednesday. Today, Wednesday, that they can take it, and if somebody of y'all feel down today or anything, she's going to say something, then I'll finish it up, wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that you had me on. Thanks. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with your audience some of these things that I'm really, really passionate about. And so I just want to say there's so much we can't control. There's just so much. The things that we can, the things that we can empower ourselves to do, I'm I'm all for that. My COVID closet is stocked, and I'm doing those things. But at the end of the day, you know, we don't control everything, and I think we need to find peace. I believe the Lord is our peace, and I just encourage everyone out there to find their peace.
Thank you. The same thing what she said, guys. She mentioned just about find your peace. You. God created you. Yes, we have our parents. We love them. We fight with them. But you are your self-image of you, what He created you. So you have to find you, your peace, no matter what they're saying, no matter what other people tell you. Find you, find who you really are. I know it's going to take time. It's something that we fight, like, oh, I want to create a business. I want to make some money, like right now. No, it's not going to happen. Trust me. I know you've been there. I've been there so many times. And then, like, it's just your mindset of money, 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 and you're never going to get it because that's the only thing. When you find peace and you find yourself and you find something humble that you're doing, that was your talent, that gift that God gave you, man, there's nobody that's going to stop you. And there's nobody that tells you, oh, this, and that, because there's always going to be haters. You already know what you're doing and why you're doing it, and that bigger difference that's going to make along the road. So I just want you to think that keep on having a blessed Wednesday, and don't give up on anything. And if you feel like today's not your day, but don't do anything. Just don't throw that negativity to others. Just stay home and relax. Even if you have to watch Netflix the whole day and sleep and watch Netflix and eat, but that's a day that you just want to just kind of get your mindset back, do that. We all have those days. We all have those days, trust me. For one day that you miss of not doing anything or making deals or anything, it's fine. It's not going to kill you. You're still alive. You need to reconstruct yourself. Do it. A lot of people are rebranding themselves now. That's fine. Some people with 10 years with the same thing, and they're like, okay, we got to adapt because of this and rebrand. That's still good. Do what you got to do that comes from your heart and be peaceful. Thank you. And thank you for all your information. And like I said, anything that you need to, after we finish, we can post it in there, put it on the comments, and you can follow her on her page. So you can let them know where they can find you.
Right. So the best thing right now, my page is really dedicated to helping doctors. So that's my page right now. So the best thing would be just to connect with me via email if you have questions and you'd like some information about this. And so it's Carole with an E on the end. So it's CAROLE at functionalhealthassociates.com. It's a bit of a mouthful, but
it's
that's
here.
where you can find me. Yep.
So I'm going to write it down in the comments, guys. So that's where you'll be able to find her and email her for any questions you got. And if you just want to check out her page, like I said, she's doing a lot of things with the COVID closet. So she'll be able to help you with that. And that's a blessing that she's doing something. She adapted on something that she said that we're going to need already in the future. Because we already looking through a lot of things that are jumping in for the future. And it's crazy that 2020 just gave us a lot of surprises.
Sure did.
It's like a preview for a movie for 2021.
Oh, man.
I always say that, whoa, this is like a preview when hurricanes and then still coming and election and all of this. So what else do we expect? It's like a big movie thing. I saw somebody create a video that said this is a preview for 2021. Either it goes left or either it goes right or it stays in the middle. I was like, oh my goodness, they're right. I was like, but even though whatever happens, you're the one that is in control of your life, not them. Nobody. God controls everything, but you control you here on earth. So be blessed that you're still breathing. Thank you, guys. And I hope you liked it. And everything was amazing. Thank you, Carole, again for being here. I learned so many things today, something new. And I hope that y'all learned something new today, because every day we learn something new. So every time I'm going to have somebody new there. So health, you name it. Losing weight, all of that, anything that you want to learn, I'm going to have somebody new there so we can learn something new. Thank you, guys, and God bless, and keep on having an amazing Wednesday. Thank you. Thank you for being here in the Push Power to Power Show. Woo, we're out, and you have a blessed, oh man, I was going to say Monday again. Why do I have Monday in my head? Sorry, guys, blessed Wednesday. I know you're going to say, as soon as we're already Wednesday, when are you kicking back Monday? It's all good. Sometimes you don't know the days. God bless, guys.